The Italian tune-up. I'm sure you've heard of it. Hey guys, how's it going? So you're riding to work with Kenny. I thought I'd be a little bit on the lighthearted side this morning. The Italian tune-up, and I don't say it to be degrading or anything else. You can look it up. It's what it's called. I don't know why. I don't know who gave it the term. And the funny thing is, where I grew up, in my neighborhood, our family was the only non-Italian family on our block. So it's kind of weird that I was just thinking of this. So Italian tune-up, what is it? It's basically you're driving the car aggressively, briskly, whatever, to blow carbon out of it and basically loosen it up. You're stretching it out is basically what you're doing. Like I said, I didn't give it the term. It's a term that somebody else came up with, and it's kind of a well-known term. Look it up. So it was well known that back in the day, the carbon would build up on pistons and stuff like that. Old carbureted cars and even fuel-injected cars when they came out, and you would take them out and you'd basically beat the snot out of them, and you'd make them run better. And one of my buddies had a Toyota Supra. It was the last of the square-edged cars with the sloop nose and the pop-up headlights. It wasn't the model after that where it was really rounded off with a rounded rear end and the turbo and the really high-performance ones. But his was a turbo, and it was pretty stout for what it was in a day. So when I had my shop, he drops it off with me, and he says, I don't know what's wrong with it. He goes, it just doesn't have the oomph it should. He says, and he goes, when you make slow turns, he goes, the car kind of shudders. So I was like, all right. So I get in the car, and he's with me right at the time. So I'm taking it, and I feel it in the turns. I go, that's your rear end. I said, what's going on is the clutches in the rear differential are skipping. They're chattering as it's making turns. I'd have to service it and do a bunch of figure eights and whatnot. I said, do you ever drive this thing hard? And I knew he didn't. He was 55 miles an hour, and that was it. That's all he ever drove. Why he had a car like that, I have no idea. He should have had a Buick Electra. But whatever. So he leaves the car with me. He's like, I'm going away for a few days. Just leave my car here. Do what you want with it. Drive it home. He's like, beat the snot out of it. He knew me. He's like, whatever you want to do. All right. So I service the rear end, and I do a bunch of figure eights with it and stuff like that, and it's getting better. It's definitely improving. So one night, we're at the shop. We're working on Timmy's. I've mentioned Timmy before. We're working on Timmy's Mustang, and the car would go 1030s at 133 with a stock short block 302. So that night we decided, and it was late. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. We decided we needed a little break. I was like, all right, let's take the Supra out. I got to basically romp on it a bit anyway, get this rear end, to stop chattering. So he's like, all right. So we took the car out and basically gave it the mega Italian tune-up. I took this thing, and the car only had about 12,000 miles on it. So I took the thing out, and I was literally, I wanted to see how well this thing would perform. And I told you in other videos, near my shop was an area or a road called Playland Parkway. So we used to drag race on Playland Parkway. And one of my customers, when asked what his address was, he goes, I'm on such and such a street. He goes, right where second gear comes in. I was laughing. I wonder if he knew it was us, or because a lot of people used to drag race there. So anyway, they took this out, and I'm pretty much romping it, just like I would one of my 5-liter Mustangs. I wasn't doing anything different. I was really romping on it. So the rear end was still chattering a little bit, but it's still there, but it was much, much improved. So I started doing some donuts with this car. And then I was doing some hard launches, like laying rubber with it and everything else. And I smoked up the tires a couple of times. And I tell you what, the car ran great. The car was running absolutely fantastic. So I parked the car. Whatever it was, that Monday comes around. My buddy comes and he picks up his car. He's like, how is it? I said, that's great. You'll be happy with it. So he's like, all right. So he leaves. So I'm in the office there, and Timmy's there, and we're just talking. So all of a sudden, my other buddy, who was not friends with Timmy, he was just friends with me. My other buddy, I see him pull back in with the Supra. So I'm like, I wonder what he's coming back in for. So he comes in, and he says, he opens up the door, and he looks at me, he goes, I don't know what you did to my car. And I see Timmy go, And he turns around, he walks out of the office. He's like, I'm not going to be in here for this one. He goes, I don't know what you did with my car. He goes, but it has never run that good. It's never shifted that good. It's never been that smooth. He goes, whatever you did, if just changing the gear oil did that, he goes, I'm going to do that every 12,000 miles. Oh, by the way, I noticed I need rear tires. Can you get me rear tires? So, that's the truth. It is the truth. I never told him that I basically romped the daylights out of his car, and that's what he needed to do. But he, like I said, he drove like a little old lady. Why he didn't have a Buick Electra? I don't know. I guess he liked the car. But yeah, romping the snot out of it really helped. The first shop I ever worked at, we had a customer that would come in every 3 to 6 months. They had a Dodge Omni or a Plymouth Horizon. It was one of those. It was the 4-door automatic transmission, but it was the carbureted 2.2 liter, and those were notorious for issues. And they had this weird distributor with the ignition wires that popped through the distributor, and the ignition wires were actually the contact point for the rotor, where the spark would jump across. Like the cap didn't have its own leads. It was the actual ignition wire that snapped through the cap, and the rotor would actually spark to the ignition wire. Yeah, it was really a weird setup. But those things are notorious for getting carbon buildup, and they were notorious for not running right after a while. And there again, you take those out and you beat the snot out of them, and they would clear up. So this customer would come in every 3 to 6 months and say, do your thing. Do your thing. Just make it run right. And my boss would give me the car. He goes, here, just do your thing. They love it when you drive it because they say the car has never had so much power as after you drive it. So, okay, let me take it out. And basically I would rev it up to red line and shift it, manually, shift the automatic manually, because they were 3-speed automatics. And I tell you, it made a huge difference. And I had several people tell me the same thing. Like, why is it after you drive the car, my car has more power? Because I drive them aggressively. It's just, I don't try to kill the car, but I drive them aggressively. Look at this van. 267,564 miles currently. Original transmission fluid still, and it shifts fine. Original transmission fluid, go figure that out. It's a 62 TE. They're known for exploding. But you know what? I have no problems with this thing. Every once in a blue moon, it's got a whacked out shift. But I firmly believe that driving your car spiritedly will give you more power. I do firmly believe that. Not that it'll give you more power, but it'll make it run the way it should. I believe that with most of these cars, when you drive them slow and easy, they just get used to grandma shifting and grandma driving and grandma fuel economy. I should probably stop saying grandma because Mrs. Wrenching's a grandma. So, but whatever. But you understand my point. It's, drive it like you stole it. Best thing I could tell you. And that's kind of how I drive my cars. As soon as I go anywhere, like if I have to merge into any kind of traffic, foot to the floor every time. Every single time. And I don't have any problems. I really don't. It's very rare I have problems. People always wonder why my vehicles last. And I'm telling you, that's why they last. Because I drive them aggressively. Always have, always will. I'll never change. So anyway, that's it. Just a little happy story today instead of me filling you with sadness in regards to customers and what other shops do. So anyway, hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.